I'm singing on key.
Mhm.
I tell you one time Arsenio Hall brought us onto his show, right? Arsenio must have brought us on his show maybe 5 or 6 times. Every time after we sang Baby I'm For Real, he would say, Keith, wow, man, I love that part that you sing in the song. I'm like, dude, usually the guy who don't get to lead no songs, he really can't sing. But man, I really love you got that silky smooth, sexy voice. He did that at least 3, 4 times on different shows. I don't care if we sang Baby I'm For Real on that show or not. He'd go back with words to that. The last time he did the show, he asked us to sit on the couch, right? We all walk over after singing a song. We sang a song called Can He Love You Like This? We go and sit on the couch. The first thing Arsenio says is, oh man, hey man, this is my favorite group after seven. I love you guys, man. Oh my God. But Keith, you know I love that song, that Baby I'm For Real. Will you sing it for me right now? I see the little tears in your eyes about to fall. Well, now you're wondering if I'm for real. I'm on key. I'm on pitch. I don't need to hear no music. Hello.
Hi Keith, how you doing?
I am good. I'm good, sir. How are you?
Yes, it's definitely good to see you. Definitely good to see you. Yes, okay. Um, well, at least we can probably get started, and just to be able to introduce you to the audience. Many people know Keith Mitchell as one of the founding members of After Seven. And after more than almost, I would say, 30 years, Keith has decided to go solo. And but it feels it's more than just going solo. It feels as if we should have expected an autobiography alongside new music. But yes,
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah.
sir.
But but I always it's always important that we get to hear your story, and we probably start off with let people know where you were sort of born and raised, and we just and get to know Keith.
Okay. Well, first of all, I am from Indianapolis, Indiana. I am the fourth child of five. I have an
Wow.
older brother. I had two older sisters. One has passed. Still have that older sister, and I have a baby sister. So
Okay.
it was five kids who grew up in Indianapolis. Mother and father were hardworking Christians, spent a lot of time in the church, and both of them worked very hard to put their kids through school and to get us indoctrinated into the word as early as possible. So I found myself um, being drawn to the church through my mom's and dad's going to church.
Mm.
And of course, there is where I was baptized in Jesus' name at the age of 7. I tarried and, spoke in tongues and was afforded the gift of the Holy Ghost.
Wow.
And so I am certainly a believer. My mother made sure before she passed that all of her kids had a relationship with God and the Word of God and knew God. So
Okay.
we applauded her passing when she passed for that achievement alone. Is one thing to raise your kids and they can go out and stand up on their own and make a living and take care of themselves and grow up their kids. But it's ultimately important that as we do that, we're guiding our kids in a direction of Christ. And
Okay.
she made sure that happened. And so that was the impotence pretty much behind my indoctrination into
Okay.
music and the Word of God.
You mentioned being part of church. Did the actual element of singing, where did you, where was that? Was that from school, with friends?
Well, the music kind of came into the house through my mom and my dad. A lot of church music was played in the house at that time. Mahalia Jackson, James Cleveland, the Hawkins Singers,
Mhm.
um, just to name a few. but we went to church almost 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And in church is where the youth choir that I was associated with by being so young exposed me to music. But before that, my brother and my two sisters and I had a group at that church called a Zion Tabernacle, and we were known as the Stars of Zion at that young age. But that was my first inclination to a fondness for melody and to hear my voice. And that led to me being introduced to a young adult choir there at Zion Tabernacle at around the age of 12, um, 13. I was, directing that young adult choir. I'd be up in front of them
Wow.
directing the music, and then I'd turn around and lead part of a song and then turn back around and, lead the young adult choir. Uh, so that's where the ear got developed for
Mm,
harmony and the passion for harmony. The last 3 years of my involvement with church, the pastor and his wife were pretty much taking me back and forth to church. And so you got to understand, I was really dipped heavily into the body of Christ as a young kid. And by the time I got to 14, um, I kind of stopped going to church so much and got introduced to more worldly affairs. Of course, at high school, you meet new people and developing new friendships and different new things are going on. But up to then, I was such this pure little spirit and believer of Christ. And that
mm,
time period put anointing on my life, put protection on my life. I
mm,
received a lot of prayer from people. And for a lot of people, they may have thought that I would have went on to become a little young preacher. But as we know, God takes over. He allows us to use our free moral will. I started learning more things about the street and about the world. Wasn't singing so much at that point because there was no choir activity,
mm.
but the passion and the love for singing continued. And
Okay.
that's when the radio in our community began to share some R&B music, still a lot of top 40 music, but I was certainly influenced by what I heard on the radio. So walking back and forth to school, hey, I'm singing some melody all the time. Got to
Okay.
the point to where my friends would say, "You can't sing. Why are you always singing?" But it was just something that was in you.
No, what did they mean by you couldn't sing? Because I thought you'd been singing for a
Well,
while.
what your friends, your young friends were always teasing and picking with each
Okay.
other for one
Okay.
reason or another. So this was just an opportunity because I would be singing a melody of a song,
Mm.
something that's within me to just letting it out. I got kind of tagged with it. Actually, was another word that they used to say, but point is, they said you can't sing. Why are you always singing? And
Okay.
it wasn't because I was wanting to see myself in some musical
Mm.
sense outside of church. It was just I had fell in love with melody and music, and then hearing the radio and hearing songs on the radio, you want to sing those songs and emulate those singers, and that's how you really develop whatever you may have as a singer.
So then, when you said you kind of, got into sort of teenage years, high school and stuff, and your relationship with church sort of took a different direction. What did you have as a career and aspiration? Did you have an idea of what you wanted to do after you finished school?
No, at that young age, around 14, there really wasn't a direction. I mean, I played football, I ran track, never made the basketball team, but I lettered in football in high school. Never really thought I'd be playing a collegiate level sports. So by the time I got accepted at Indiana University, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I'm listening to counselors who pretty much guide you towards business. We think that's where you need to go, based upon your past curriculum and whatnot. So, but it was at Indiana University, majoring in business, starting out. that I was introduced to this college class called the IU Soul Review. And it was that ensemble, that class, that spirited the liking, the reminiscing of what I was doing in church, brought it back. And this ensemble was a 40-piece ensemble made up of
40.
musicians,
Okay.
dancers, and all of that. It's a huge undertaking.
Okay. So
So
you,
in that organization, you had to audition to be in that class.
okay. And so you
And that
naturally
class is
gravitated
where
back.
I back to R&B music, or I was introduced to R&B music from a standpoint that I'm sitting and watching someone else do something that I never could see myself doing, but I felt like I had the voice to
Mm,
participate. And so once I was introduced to this class, you have to audition.
mm.
And I had seen a class come before me and participate in it. So that following year, I auditioned, and I was an understudy to begin with, so I didn't really make the cut
Wow.
until some people fell out and they
Yeah.
put me in. And so I finished that semester. And then the next semester, when I came back, was a new class of students. And that's where Kevon Edmonds uh, entered Indiana University. And he was exposed to the same class.
Hmm.
And he came to audition. We didn't know each other before we were taking this class at IU.
Okay. Okay. I didn't realize you both met in university. Okay. And then, but what stood
Yeah.
out that the two of you, with so many people in there, that the two of you were able to form a friendship?
Well, like I say, you
Mm.
had to audition. So the year I came, I auditioned, and I think part of it might have been that I did a little dancing and whatnot. I had a lot of energy, and they brought me into it as an understudy.
Mm.
So meaning that you can come to the rehearsals, but you can't perform yet because we're not physically letting you in.
Yeah.
That semester ended, and then the next year came, and I automatically had a slot uh, in this class. And then the following year, Kevon came, and he had to audition. So
Mm.
it's totally different scenario. When he came, I was the only remaining member from the year previous,
Oh.
and we added four more people the year that Kevon auditioned, and then it was a five-piece stand-up male vocal group, and the class had about 40 people. So you got musicians, you got dancers, you got mixed vocal group, two guys, two girls, then you had a girls group with four young ladies, and in our group it was five young men. So we would cover top 40 music. We'd learn choreography the first semester of school. We'd learn choreography, and then the second semester, um, we present ourselves to the college campus in a big performance, and then we were afforded the opportunity to go around the state and sometimes outside of the state of
Mm.
Indiana to perform at different kind of like nonprofit or high school
Mm.
or Camp Atterbury. It's some place where groups of people could could see us perform, and we get the experience of what groups in a professional vein were getting paid for. We were doing it for a grade.
Okay.
But it was in that class that Kevon and myself came together, kindled a friendship and a kinship on how we approached singing and dancing. And so that friendship that we forged created the avenue so that in the summer times, he and I would go home and we'd spend time with his brothers. That would be Kenny Edmonds, Babyface, and
Mm.
Melvin Edmonds, who became part of the trio of Melvin, Keith, and Kevon, which later became After Seven.
Yeah. I mean, at the time when you were doing this, did you have any, because you were doing studying business, did you have an idea of what you wanted to do and the possibilities of what you wanted to do? Or the ensemble more of a nice pastime, but you were focused on still your business studies?
Well, yeah, the business studies were still the focus at that point,
Mm,
but during the summers, we tried to take the concept and take it home to Indianapolis, where we would practice throughout the community of Indianapolis. And then the three of us, Melvin, Kevon, and myself, would perform in some singing contests, gong shows, different kind of venues where we could just sing some top 40 song, compete, and they might have $200 there to split if you
yeah.
win.
Mm,
So it's a variety of different scenarios, but that's where we realized that our voices had something that was special, and we could emulate quite a few different groups
mm,
with our sound. Um, and then, as far as us thinking that we can go somewhere and do something, we had tried to put together a band, but back in this time, it was a thing where if you was just a singer, you needed a band.
mm.
And so most bands were very selfish with how they approach their music. So they want to play louder than the singers needed to be heard. And so it was always friction between bands and singers if you weren't a band member who could sing. In this case, in that case, and so that always was somewhat of a issue. So even though we tried, we
Mm.
couldn't envision a future with the three of us because we didn't have a band. Uh, but as time went on, meanwhile, Babyface is in a group called Manchild. Then he experimented with being in another group called April. And then eventually he evolved into becoming a member of the Deal. And that's when Two Occasions hit, the song
Mm.
called Two Occasions hit and blew them up. And Face began to write more, and eventually he in LA left the scene of the Deal and went to Los Angeles and struck gold, becoming two of the most prolific songwriters in our time.
But at this time, when Kevon and Melvin are saying, "Look, we've got to look at our brother. He's got, he's again signed and stuff." Did it feel a little bit more tangible that the three of you could make it, or was it still what they're doing was different? You were still trying to make it on your own.
Well, at that time, we really weren't really trying to do our own thing. The spotlight was on Face and LA, and what they were doing, we saw the mirage of hit records coming out of Los Angeles, and the acts that they would work with one by one going to the top of the charts. Um, at a point, there was a point when, Face contacted Kevon and told him, hey man, if you and Melvin and your friend Keith, y'all still want to do something, get yourselves together, do a little bit of self cleanup, and pay your bills, say hold on to your dollars. We may have something in the works. Had no idea what that timetable looked like. It was just a word that came back over time. And I'm in Chicago at that time. Melvin's living in Cleveland. Kevon is in Indianapolis, and so we're all doing our own things. So it could happen, might not happen. So it was hard to dream something that you
Mm.
couldn't conceive,
Yeah.
right? And their success, LA and Face's success, was their success. That was their hard work. That was them walking away from the Deal to go out to Los Angeles and sell their sound. It's just the perfect timing of things.
Mm.
It's simply, more simply, the way God works
Mm.
uh, in the total picture of things, because everything that Face was doing while we were just at college. He was paving a way that laid the foundation and the railroad tracks for us to ride through the doors to get in to get a record deal. I mean, heck, we got a record deal with Virgin Records, sight unseen, unheard.
Wow.
So Virgin Records didn't know what we looked like. Wasn't no demo tape. Okay, it wasn't a traditional thing. So, we were looked at primarily off of the success of Face in LA. And at
Mhm.
this point, they had more than a dozen or 2 dozen number one records
Mhm.
around the country. So it was a good bet for Virgin Records to, hey, bring your brothers. You got brothers? Bring them. We'll sign them. So when
Yeah.
they got there, the proof was in the pudding and it paid off.
Had you finished college? Did you finish
No, I,
college?
I didn't finish college. No,
Okay.
I'm probably maybe 8, 10 hours short of
Oh, but what
graduating.
happened? Why did you stop instead of while you were
Well,
still
I
waiting for
went
face?
by the time I left IU, when I got home, my mom was like, "Hey, you need to get a job."
Oh,
So I started out working at a finance company, and that was in Indianapolis. And then I decided to interview with some more companies. I got hired with a claims adjusting company, and they relocated me to
Chicago.
Chicago, but they sent me to Atlanta for training, and then they sent me to Chicago to work. And I would end up staying in Chicago for multiple amount of years. But while in Chicago, you know, I was always a little mover and a shaker and a networking king all
Hmm.
the way through high school and college. So a couple of my friends went to IU that were from Chicago. So when I finally went to Chicago, of course, I hooked up with them, people who went to IU from Gary, Indiana, that whole little region they called it.
Hmm.
So my friendship circle was kind of big. Those kids were all second generation of parents who had done great things in Chicago politically,
Hmm.
financially, business wise. And so, probably 3 years into my stay in Chicago, we end up uh, winning a award to put a vendor uh, ship in O'Hare Airport. So myself and two other partners, you know, I'm a little kid from Indiana. Chicago is a city that works. Okay, mucho money, but Chicago is also the place where it ain't about how much money you got. It's who do you know,
Hmm.
and these friends that I, developed friendships with from back at Indiana University had relationships, and we were able to get a business. It was a muffin business, but we had the location was so incredible, and we had a 6 year run out there at O'Hare Airport. And Mayor Daley was the Daley at that. He was the mayor at that time, Mayor Daley, and we got in stamped approval by Daley, but we at the end of the 6 years we had to move out because we didn't have a political relationship with him, but we got in under him. So, like I say, it's a city that works. Who do you know? That kind of a thing, and it was a great run, great run, great opportunity. So, the business acumen certainly got used.
So it feels as if though that you from the time you met Kevon to the time you got signed by Virgin, how many years was that then?
We got signed. We got talked about in '87, I believe, and then we signed in '89 and moved to Los Angeles. So probably from the time I met Kevon, probably maybe 5 years, 6 years,
Okay.
something like that.
Well, so it wasn't just like an instant stuff. So when you're in Chicago and he's back in
No,
Minneapolis, you're still keeping in touch.
we're still keeping in touch. Everybody's doing their own thing. Um, we aren't. we aren't living a life thinking that we're getting in the music business. There's, now I could probably say that because Kevon and Face, you know, were rather close, and
Mm,
Kevon always wanted to support Face as a singer. So their kinship was probably closer than Melvin's and Face's in reference to communicate. But Kevon and I were still tight communicate from Indiana to uh, Chicago,
mm.
but it wasn't like we calling every day finding out what's going on. You doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and Melvin's way over in Cleveland. Melvin was working with Eric Fearman and over there with the Dash Band. So, he was still dipped in music, but he wasn't doing his own thing.
Okay.
But Face knew that we had a sound because we had recorded some demos
Mm,
for him when he just all he had was a 4-track recorder. He could make the 4-track into 8. So
mm,
he was a genius at that. But we recorded some songs that some of them were presented
mm.
to Solar Records, and I think a couple of them became records that were sung by other acts that
Okay.
he had wrote. So that's where I think he knew we had a sound and we could be something special, but there was no avenues
Mm,
for us. This At this time he's trying to get his music placed, and he and LA are trying to make a life by going to Los Angeles, and they didn't know anybody, and run into the right people at the right time, and the rest is
yeah.
history. Yeah.
And I guess just finally moving on before moving on is that when Virgin says, "Okay, we're going to sign you guys," the Kevon had to check with you if you were still up for it.
No, we well, yeah, but we were all connected at this point. We had in '87 there had been chatter. By '88, y'all want to do this? Yes. But it wasn't until like late '88, '89
Mm.
where pieces started moving. I had to shut my place down in Chicago, get my furniture in storage, have my car transported to Los Angeles. I mean,
Wow.
it was then when we made moves, and at that point, we had all committed to do it. But we went to Los Angeles, and it wasn't immediate recording. We had to sit for quite a while before they
Okay.
got to us because their plates was huge busy. Yeah.
Did moving to LA as a group, did you have a name already set up, and did you have a formula as to how you sing songs?
No, there we didn't have a name. We went through a little basket full of different names, and uh, finally, after we got to Los Angeles and had begun to record, someone had left a message on Face's answer machine for him to call him back after 7. That simple. He floated that name to us, and it kind of struck a chord for a couple of reasons. One, after 7 is makes you think of after 6, and it makes you think of after 5, formal and non-formal. So after 7, we felt like we'll just call it casual elegance, meaning that not too formal, not unformal,
Mm,
but classy. So
mm,
that was the brand that matched the name, casual elegance. And so we tried to emulate that sense of being as a group, classy, smooth, um, women would maybe say sassy, handsome, debonair, dapper. I mean, the presentation of our ability to sing those songs needed both, and our ability to sing similar. The ironic thing is that our tones are
Mm.
very similar and our
Oh,
ranges,
I wouldn't have thought so.
huh?
I wouldn't have thought that your tones were similar because you seem to have three
Oh yeah.
distinct.
Well, style. You talking about style, but
Okay.
tone is what comes out in your sound of your voice, right?
Okay.
Um, and we're all middle C first tenors. So the record company, because they hadn't heard us or seen us, they sent us to Seth Riggs. Seth
The Michael
Riggs was Michael
Jackson.
Jackson's vocal coach.
Yeah.
Yes. They sent us to Seth and say, Seth, what can these guys do? So he sits us down, he sits at the piano and he's scaling and whatnot, and we're all hitting the same range of notes. Okay, but in actuality, Kevon's head voice is he didn't have a falsetto back then. So all those
Mm,
high notes that people would hear in Ready or Not and Can't
mm,
Stop, that was in his head voice. Where Melvin and I, we'd have to hit a falsetto
mm,
to hit that same note that Kevon's hitting. So we all could sing the high note, but we got to go to a different way
okay.
of getting it out. And then on the low end, Melvin and I both had solid baritones and could hit bass notes. Now we can't project the bass note all night, but to put the bass note into the sound all day long. And
Okay.
so Kevon didn't have the lower register. He barely bled into a solid baritone. It wasn't natural, but of course, over the years, he's broadened his range
Mm,
on the top level that he has a falsetto now, and now he has a lower register. So
mm.
all I'm saying is our tone, based upon one of the best ears in the business, Seth Riggs, is that they're all middle C first tenors. You didn't call one of them a baritone. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we can hit everything in that range from the
Okay.
top to the bottom. So, that being said, the second thing that was significant is that we sang breathy and sweetly. So, and then Kevon and I had always adapted the ability to look at each other, like I'm looking at you right now, and then we'll
Mm,
start singing a song together, but we're looking at each other's mouth. So we learned to pronunciate at the same time. So
mm.
sweet, breathy, soft, and then learning to move at the same time was an art. I mean, back in the day, you'd have to put three, four people in the booth at the same time to sing the background. We were huddled, the three of us, around one microphone.
Wow.
So that's how we started out. But I'm saying the sound that makes that after seven sound is the three of our voices where my voice kind of coats around their voice because when I sing the same note that they're singing,
Mm,
there's more air coming out of me than's coming out of them. So when I say
okay.
I coat it, it's because it's a little bit more air. And so
Okay.
it smooths any rough edges out in our
Okay.
sound. Yeah.
Did of course naturally, you entering into a contract and you have to read the paperwork. Now, because of your business sort of experience, did you guys take that element of let's read the contract, what are we signing away for serious?
No, not really. At this point, it's a family thing, and LA and Face are guiding us, and um, we just sit down with them. They tell us what it is, and we signed it. We later found out that it really wasn't a great deal, but we had signed it, so it didn't make a difference. But you go into it because it's family and you thinking that you're doing the right thing and they're doing the right thing for you. You can't really be mad at it at the end of the day because it opened a door that
Mm,
typically just doesn't get open. Who gets signed sight unseen, unheard. So it really
mm,
didn't matter at that point. It did, but we wasn't paying attention. Let's say that. Uh, and we went ahead and moved forward with the deal. Eventually, they bought us off of that deal, and Virgin Records bought us away from LaFace Productions, and then we were bound over strictly to Virgin Records for the rest of our career outside of the independent work that we did.
And that was much better. And were you a lot more understanding of what you were signing when you went direct to Virgin?
Uh, yeah, yeah, I'd have to say so. The deal that they had made for us with Virgin, we didn't have anything to do with. We just lived and breathed as the transition was made. But after getting in and after being bound to them directly, we of course became more astute business wise about the contract. Um, and we were settled with some debt over there that was pretty hefty that
Mm.
put you in a bad situation pretty much for the rest of our time
Wow.
with Virgin. But Virgin did all they could, financially to support us and to give us a great ride into the music business. Wasn't perfect, but for sure, because the label was going through a growth process of its own, coming from UK to the
Mm.
United States, trying to establish themselves in the black music business, as well as the rock and roll pop avenue. So they were going through growing pains, and we were going through transition plus growing pains, and um, it was a difficult road to be on. But I think because we were mature young men
Mm.
who kind of weren't so excited about the opportunity that
Mm.
we didn't take a business minded approach to how we were going to survive, how we were going to move forward, and what it was going to take to do all of that. And I
Mm.
think when I look back, I would have to say that we did probably the best that any act could have done going through the adversities that we faced and still managed to walk away from recording for 20 years and
Wow.
turn around and get Melvin to come back and record, Timeless. And then
Mm.
lastly, the unfinished business project says, the guys had something going on. And those last two records had a strong value of relevance to them and made people take notice because I think people miss the fact that we just kind of fell out the recording scene. Uh, and when we came back, they were happy to see us, and the sound was still intact. And physically, we were blessed to
Mm.
still be able to have those voices that we had when we were younger.
There was a question I asked the Brian Alexander Morgan, who was working with SWV, about why not all of the members of SWV sang leads at times. And I guess the question is because I know most of the time Melvin will start up a track in his vocal, and then Kevon would come and take it home, just like how One Year does in Boyz II Men. For yourself, was there not a sense of, well, I can sing, especially when I think back at leading church when I was younger and that confidence? Was there part of you that wasn't happy with the fact that you were not getting to feature on those early days of the first couple of albums?
Oh, I'd have to say yes, absolutely. I mean, um, it was a question in my mind from the beginning, but I always understood that the group was forged on behalf of Melvin and Kevon, and they had phenomenal voices. Melvin had a lot of experience coming into the situation, so I knew they were going. to sing the Wealth of the album. But I never thought that a 30-year run would never see my voice singing a bridge or singing a verse in a combination with Melvin or Kevon or Danny or any other substitute member that came after Melvin. I would have thought that there would have been some approach to allowing me to get in the booth and put down, a serious sound.
Mm.
But like I've said in the past in a couple other interviews, I, I, I think that because it was the brothers' situation, perhaps there may have been a conversation. And I don't know of a conversation where they might have said, well, Keith, you just gonna be the background singer in the group. We're not gonna afford you the opportunity to lead any song. Now, in my gut, I would have to believe that they had that conversation, and that since the group was being made around Melvin and Kevon, that a third person leading a vocal could open the door that could mean that a record could come out that's a great record that becomes a single,
Mm.
and it could lay the foundation for that third member to want to maybe try to push up and have an opportunity to have a solo career outside of After Seven, and could mess up the dynamics of it After Seven. Now,
Mm.
that's just me and my business minded, curious wisdom of thinking.
Mm.
But in all that, I'm just saying, I thought that the conversation probably was had, and I never would have knew anything about it, and it never got to me that there was that kind of a conversation. But the end result of the 30-year, uh, you know, trip of After Seven with Keith, Melvin, Kevon, Danny, Will, it's like I was never really given the amount of time in the booth to approach a particular verse. And, if I didn't sing it the way that somebody wanted me to sing it, that's taking too long. Come
Mm.
on, we got to move on. We got to
Mm.
move on. And part of this in later years, not getting the opportunity is because I was never given the opportunity in the beginning. So you got to understand the first time you go in the booth to make a record, the producers, you're humble. You're like, you're, you can sing, but you don't even know what you sound like. And you don't know what the producer has made this music.
Mm.
Well, the producer wants it sung in a certain key, and he wants it has a certain feel and a certain this and certain that. So you have to give way to all that in the beginning. So it takes time. So all I'm really saying is that Melvin, it took time.
Mm.
Kevon going to booth, it took time. And nobody's just walking in and bam, that's After Seven. It
Mm.
was created, bro. It
Wow.
was created, and I learned the process. I was never offered to be a part of that process. So if you don't get to do it, you don't experience it, you don't get to learn it. It's like a
Yeah.
teacher, you know, giving out the curriculum, but she gonna take the time to show 5 students how to do it. But the other 25, she ain't gonna take no time to show them. So I'm just saying, yes, I felt the sense of being shunned in that department, but I knew
Mm.
why because it was the brothers thing. But after Melvin passed, still would have been a great opportunity to say, hey, we're gonna find a track for Keith, uh, write something for Keith, and this is gonna be his record. He deserves a shot. Melvin's not here.
Mm.
I'm a part of the iconic sound, but you can't expect me to sing it like Kevon because I ain't Kevon. And I can't sing it like Melvin because I ain't Melvin. But I'm Keith. Now,
Yeah.
when you put them two voices with mine, that's the iconic sound. So
Mm.
whether it was my voice with Kevon in a duet or my voice with Melvin in a duet, it's still After Seven, and it would have worked. And the proof is in the pudding of He's Alive And
Mm-hmm.
what you gonna get to hear real soon, July the 11th, the album is dropping, bro. And
Yeah.
you will clearly be able to see, oh, that voice would have worked with Melvin or Kevon. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And wait a minute. Keith wrote it? Yes. And Keith laid all those vocals? Yes. Did Keith arrange the vocals? Yes. Wow. And he wrote the lyrics too? Yeah. Huh. And there wasn't no mega producer in the booth? No. Wow. Amazing. He has that little boy has that little yellow skinned boy back there in the back that didn't ever get to sing. He can really sing. Amazing.
But yeah, I mean that's definitely a good dramatization of it. But I guess I am curious then because when you're signed, are those kind of conversations left out of it? It's like, look, we're signed, let's focus on doing the albums and promoting it and things like that.
Yeah, in that situation, you are lucky to be here, A.
Mm.
Um, and the fact that they had garnered this opportunity, you're not gonna come in and spread your wings like you should be given something special. I'm just intelligent enough and smart enough to know, I played the role that I was really asked to play. You got an Oreo cookie, you got chocolate on the outside, on both sides, and you got cream in the middle. Bro, I was the cream in the middle. And the cream had to be sweet, or the sound wouldn't have been as great as it is. Now, it took both of the brothers' voice, but it took mine's too. And all
Mm.
I'm saying is that if the iconic sound of After Seven, which is when you hear us in the heat of the moment, can't stop how I feel. When you hear that sound, you hear me.
Mm.
You can't take me out. And I'm just saying, give it a try.
Yeah.
But when I'm just saying, when we lost Melvin, would been the window to try. But we go out and we get Danny McClain. Okay, Danny can sing his butt off.
Mm.
But I'm saying you never gave me a chance. So
But if it's only the two of you then left, how does those decisions, how are they made? Because is it not unanimous, both having a conversation?
what do you mean? Say that
No,
question again.
because when Melvin passed, and it's like before Danny was brought in, did you have to say, hey, you know what, let me try those parts?
Well, at that point, it was Kevon's group, and
Oh.
Kevon made the decision. Now, when you start out and you a third, you a third, you a third. Everybody's humble, everybody's appreciative, everybody's excited that we have an opportunity. So the pie is split up three ways, but it's still two voices that are brothers and one voice that's not a brother. So there's only so much you can ask for in a situation where it's a group and you got Babyface, the greatest producer and songwriter of our time at that moment, even then. So there's only so much of a wave that you can expect to make and think that the group is going kowtow to what your feelings. The best opportunity to have given me a chance would have been after Melvin had passed and we decided to do another record, which would have been on Unfinished Business. It could have been broached on Timeless
Mm.
because Jason was certainly given a full song to sing. And of course, as Melvin's son, he got skills. I ain't got no problem with it. But my point is, you still didn't give Keith a chance. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
And a chance is not 10 minutes, 15 minutes of effort or 20 minutes of effort. If it takes an hour to get a verse
Mm.
than dedicate the hour to give the guy the verse and let him sing it the best way that he can sing it. Now, I sung 25 songs on my own. 10 of them are on this new album, Food for Your Life. There ain't nobody singing but me.
Mm.
And wasn't nobody in there telling me how to sing it. And as you hear it, you can call me back and get another interview. And I want you to tell me, Keith, you wasn't very good on that. And you can say that to me. Please do.
Okay.
Or you can
Okay.
tell me how you feel about it. I mean, like I say, I'm not Kevon and I'm not Melvin. I'm not Babyface. I'm Keith.
Mm.
But I'm
Yeah.
singing on pitch. I'm singing on key.
Mm.
I tell you one time Arsenio Hall brought us onto his show, right? Arsenio must have brought us on his show maybe 5 or 6 times. Every time after we sang Baby I'm For Real, he would say, Keith, wow, man, I love that part that you sing in the song. I'm like, dude, usually the guy who don't get to lead no songs, he really can't sing. But man, I really love you got that silky smooth, sexy voice. He did that at least 3, 4 times on
Mm.
different shows. I don't care if we sang Baby I'm For Real on that show or not. He'd go back with words to that. The last time he did the show, he asked us to sit on the couch, right? We all walk over after singing a song. We sang a song called Can He Love You Like This? We go and sit on the couch. The first thing Arsenio says is, oh man, hey man, this is my favorite group after seven. I love you guys, man. Oh my God, but Keith, I love that song, that Baby I'm For Real. Will you sing it for me right now? I see the little tears in your eyes about to fall. Well, now you're wondering if I'm for real. I'm on key. I'm on pitch. I don't need to hear no music.
Mm.
It's in my head. I sung it just like that. There was
Yeah.
some people who didn't like the fact that I sang that. Now,
Wow.
I wasn't gonna sit on national TV when this man asked me to sing his favorite part of his song, and he's invited us on his show. You think I'm gonna turn him down? No, just like I sang it for you.
But what kept you for 30 plus years being what one might describe as the third wheel or so in this singing group when you already had the skills and abilities prior?
I didn't quite understand the question part.
No, I was saying that what kept you being able to, how did you manage to endure that for 30 plus years?
Oh, okay.
How did, just,
Um, well, first of all, I'm a loyal person. When I give my word that I'm gonna do something, I like to stand behind it. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, and I pledged Kappa for 12 weeks at Indiana University. Now, if you know anything about African American fraternities and sororities, it's a pretty serious pledgeship. I took it pretty seriously, and they took my individual, selfish-minded, self-hearted attitude and destroyed it. Okay,
Mhm.
and I didn't understand the pledgeship when I first started pledging, and I was getting punished because the dog next to me couldn't open his mouth. But I'm Kappa Alpha Beta Gamma Delta Epsilon Zeta Eta Theta Iota. I'm saying my information like bam, 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 bam. The dude next to me wasn't. He froze up. He was scared. But the point is, Keith, the pledgeship is about if your brother don't know it, you don't know it. So
Mhm.
they didn't bother him. They came back to me after I gave my little stint and they hit me. They slapped me because I knew my information, but my
Mhm.
brother didn't. So those experiences in pledging teaches you to Even though you know how to do it, you hold back because your brother don't. So if we're gonna get punished, we all gonna get punished. It took me about 7 or 8 weeks to learn that lesson. Now, all I'm really saying is, and after seven, I had to play that role. I'm the guy who's not the brother. My vote don't carry no weight unless one of them votes with me. I'm not a
Mm.
politician, so I ain't trying to always win your vote, kiss your butt, kiss your butt, kiss your butt. No, I'm gonna always say what I think. That's
Mm.
the only place you can be in the middle is to give your opinion. And so my experience in team and group from pledging has taught me
Mm.
to stand in there and take the good, the bad, and the ugly for the
Mm.
benefit of the group,
Yeah.
thinking that my friend, my partner, Kevon Edmonds, who says, I got you. Don't worry, Keith. I got you. Don't worry, Keith. I got you. And whenever there was a crisis, don't worry, Keith. I got you. Well, I got you has never came. And, this guy, you know, has paid me the same thing for over 20 years. When I came back after leaving the group, the
Mm.
amount of money that he paid me to do a show is the same amount of money he kept wanting to pay me all the way up to January of 2025. And when I walked away, I couldn't take it anymore. But he had started to marginalize my presence, my ability to function as an entertainer on stage. Uh, Things were being taken away, and my
Mm.
ability to have fun and do what God has purposed me to do is to sing and entertain and make people experience special feelings about a particular melody and a song that I've learned to prepare and sing. And when I can't feel that way, I can't stand to do this. So behind the scenes, from early June, July of 2024, he started recording this gospel music. And by the time we got to January, they didn't have a clue that I had recorded this music. They didn't know. And one day I got into a heated conversation with Kevon and walked away from the group over the phone.
Wow. How many times
And
was this that you walked
a week,
away? Now, how many
I
times
walked away from
have...
the group twice. This is the second time.
Okay.
It's just twice.
Mm.
But the point is, I did, and you didn't know that I was walking away. Just
Mm.
sick and tired of being used, mistreated. Um, I'm a face of the group. I helped build the brand. You built the brand off of my good looks. You built the brand off of my hard sweat and rehearsing and dedication, showing up, always on time, not late, not really a problem. You didn't get there by yourself. You may have sang the high notes, but somebody sang the low note.
Mm.
That was me. You get all the accolades because you singing a song, and I'm here to hail your success at that and how
Yeah.
good you were at that. But how good was I at showing up? And
Yeah.
I'm the guy, along with you and Melvin, whose face is on this logo, dude. You just don't treat somebody who's giving you 20, 25, 30 years of showing up on every stage where you were, outside of the couple of years or so that I wasn't in the group. Everywhere you were, I was. You wasn't worried about whether or not I was getting on the plane or not coming or coming.
Right.
Dependable. Listen, tell me, if you wasn't offered a raise from your employer
Mm.
in over 20 to 30 years, would you still work for him?
I mean, I've got to see what's in it for me, but honestly, if I've had the choice of two, then I'll take the one, a different one. Yeah.
Yeah. But would you keep coming to work with no raise?
Goodness. I mean, I wondered, that's what I said, would you not have these open conversations where it is respectful, especially for
If
the
you
history?
if you ask for a raise and a person says I can't afford to pay you that, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean,
And you
you're,
and you put all this time and energy into it. What do? You walk
yeah,
away?
I,
At some point,
I,
at some point you walk away. How long you stay, there's some other determining factors. I'm a loyal person. I'm a committed person. And you kept telling me I'm gonna take care of you. I got you.
Mhm,
Well, you don't believe your friend when they say you got you?
mhm.
You've
Yeah,
been together for 10 years,
yeah,
15 years, 20 years, and they say, I got you, I got you, I got you. And I got you never come. There's
yeah.
nobody in the music industry who's not given band members, roadies, sound technicians, choreographers. Nobody is not getting paid more money when they keep doing it over and over and over and over again for the people. Because people that I know of, the human beings I know of, realize that people are making sacrifices for them.
Mm,
When you go work for Elon Musk, them people happy. They got a job. And he probably paying them real well. And then when they do a super good job, they bless them with a little bit more. And there's this stuff called cost of living. So there's no cost of living adjustment. You don't earn none of them.
No, as I said, you as a recording artist, life is a lot different. And
No,
yeah,
no.
no, what I say is that the decisions you made are things that I've never sang in front of people, so I can't comprehend how tough it was, but also when you make
Whether
those
you
kind of
singing in
decisions.
front of somebody or not, when you build a brand,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a guitar player. It takes the two of us make after seven. You take me away, all you got is after, buddy. The seven left with me. That's why right now he got five people singing now when it used to be three.
Hmm. Oh, goodness. Now, how did you just pivot and get recalled by the Lord to almost to say, look, the space has always been waiting just waiting, I've just been waiting for you to
No,
step into it.
I wrote these songs 25 years ago.
Wow.
God has walked with me every step of this path that I've been on, every step. And he's been working on me, trying to get me to stop doing what I'm doing
Mm,
for Keith and do it for him. When he
mm,
sat down with me to write these songs, Keith has never considered himself a songwriter. Keith has never written a poem. So when I sat down to write these songs, I am positive the hand of the Lord was in my hand and
mm,
around my hand and helped me pen the words and the melodies and the sound of what you gonna hear on
mm,
Food for Your Life, bro. This ain't like, this is something I've been doing my whole life. I've been singing, yeah,
mm.
and dancing, yeah, but writing lyrics to music, no. And I'm here to tell you that I did more than a good job. It's an
Yeah.
amazing job. And this music is going to minister to some people's hearts and
Mm,
it's going to carry some people out of some things that they're going through in their life. That the words that I've placed in this music and the way I sang these, they're going to identify with
mm,
these songs and those feelings and those emotions. And they will sincerely feel how I feel about my passion and my love for God, and that how we as Christians should put him above any and
mm,
all things. And
mm.
moreover, through music,
Amen. Yeah.
because music belongs to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess just why did you decide to release it next week? But also, was there an expectation as to you've gone it out to your system and it's out there, or is there a sense that you want this new music to, I don't know what the words now are, going viral or whatnot, or because
No,
it's different being a recording artist today compared to back when people were going and buying a physical copy and then exchanging their dollars. And now
right.
it's once it's out there, people can download it and move it around and yeah.
Yeah. And they can do that. That's the whole thing about the internet and social media. I've got to do my part,
Yeah.
and God's got to do His part, and I feel like I'm doing His work. So God is the pendulum in this thing. The messages that I'm sharing with people are going to change some people's lives. It's going to save some people's lives. Just like people have come up to After Seven and say, "Man, I don't know what I would have done without your music.
Mm.
I went through a divorce and I had you guys' music and you guys brought me through." Now, if singing ready or not, baby, I'm for real, nights like this can bring a brother out of a divorce, I'm here to tell you that singing praises to Jesus Christ, who shed his blood and sacrificed and gave his life over and over and over again, learning how to take control, learning how to find the way and the path
Mm.
to Christ, and the what comes from the joy of praising Jesus Christ through music.
Yeah.
It is a privilege to get to do what I'm doing. And God's going to anoint this.
Mm.
If this is supposed to be what it is, God's going to do what he needs to do on it. I'm just here to be the vessel that he
Mm.
used to get this message out. And I don't think that something that I did 25 or 30 years
Mm.
ago is something that, because they're doing it a different way, is going to make a difference.
Mm.
No, ain't nobody doing it quite like Food for Your Life, bro. They not. This there are very few words, lyrics in this production that don't have a strong meaning and message for your heart. You
Mhm.
know, I'm singing a song called Virtuous Woman. I'm quoting the scripture, Proverbs 31 and 10. You
Very
looking
well.
for a virtuous woman, you're gonna find her in Proverbs 31 and 10. And in
Hmm.
that song, I'm addressing all of the virtues of a virtuous woman. I'm just saying that's scripture. I'm giving you parts of scripture in the lyrical content of the song. Well, when you start singing the song, before you know it, you're gonna be pouring the word of God in your heart through the song. And when we sing a song, I don't care if it's Kendrick Lamar, we singing it passion. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. We singing it with passion and conviction. Now sing my gospel music with passion and conviction. I dare you. It's gonna get in your heart. It's gonna change you, the way you think, the way you feel. Some of the things you're gonna do and won't do is because of the words that are placed in this song by God through my hand, through my voice, can change you. And I'm here to tell you that it changed me when I wrote these songs and recorded these songs. Spiritually, God came to me and took smoking marijuana away from me. I never asked God to I shouldn't be smoking marijuana while I'm writing and recording these songs of praise to you. It sounds crazy, but I'm also here to tell you it's crazy when I don't want to smoke no marijuana no more. And it's been over 20, 25 years since I've touched a joint and don't want one. Don't He purged my body of it. But it's when I was singing these songs and recording these songs. And when you sing the praise of the Lord and you sing it
Hmm.
over and over and over again, people kind of get a little dizzy, a little faint. Something comes over you. They
Mm.
get happy. Next thing you know, they up and shouting and running and chirping around the church. And we might think they faking, or those of us who really know how Christ works, the
Mm.
Spirit of the Lord can get in you, and you just feel so good about the praise and the goodness that's connected to the praise. You identify with it, and it just takes you over. And I think that this music has that kind of power.
Mm. No, it's definitely. Especially when we think about the chief worship leader before the fall was the Lucifer. So I guess, all of creation is made up of music, and the fact that you are very bold with your faith, and as you're talking and focusing on that, um, when did you decide about actually sharing, um, being honest about the direction and what happened, like as you are now, but also using that as a sense of, I'm going this direction. This isn't a hiatus. This is, look, I've had all this stuff happen to me. Um, I want to be able to be open to everyone, but at the same time, I'm moving forward by showing where I'm at and where my calling is at this moment in time. How did you know how that you were going to, when you left, you had to be open and honest to everyone, and at the same time, be
Well,
bold with your faith?
I guess, well, 30 years of being in the music business, my whole life since I was 7, having a relationship with God and the Word of God, being a spiritual minded person
Mm.
already, just from the common sensality of my existence. I've acknowledged God. I've acknowledged being a believer. I believe that the Son of God is Jesus Christ. So these fundamental beliefs are the cornerstones of how I move forward in
Mm.
life. So me moving from the singing songs in the church to singing songs of the top 40 to singing songs in after 7 to singing songs for Christ. That journey is all a continuous preparation for today. So it wasn't like I went down this street and said, "Oh, let me go try this over here. No, let me go do this." No, no, no. It's all one continuous movie. I had to do what I did when I was 7,
Mm.
and God prepared me then for what I had to go through.
Mm.
So the sacrifice, the persecution, being lied to, been cheated, been disrespected, been marginalized, just taking all the tools away from me to perform on a live stage, to present myself professionally. God said, listen, it's time.
Mm.
Go back, re-record that music. We're going to put that music out.
No.
Now it's time for you to do me instead of doing everybody else. And see, he prepared me 25 years ago when I wrote the
Mm.
song. I didn't have the resources. I didn't know the pathway to get my music out. So it wasn't for me to make it happen 25 years ago. It had to happen in 2025. And if you listen to my voice, surely my voice
Mm.
does not sound like a man should sound who's been in this business that long. A lot of entertainers don't have the voice that I have still today. And that's a blessing. And that's God.
Mm.
And He knew when it was time for me to do what I needed to do for Him. Because in this music, I keep saying, some lives are going to be saved. And even if it's one life, that goes on my record. And I think it's a privilege for anybody to be able to step in and do work directly for God,
Yeah.
even though He's in everything that we do. But when your purposefulness turns into the chance to sing the praise of God and His Son, Jesus Christ, when you get the chance to sing a song for them and hail them, and you can influence others to listen to it, bruh, everybody in life don't get that chance. Some people just gonna be a race car driver. That's all they're gonna ever be is a race car driver. Some people just gonna be a football player. I'm not knocking any profession. I'm just telling you, you asked me a question that makes me go full circle 360
Mm.
back to where I came from. And it's not me jigging and jagging on a life history course. No, it's purposefulness that has got me here.
Yeah, I mean, can you give us details as to where people can get your new single, how they can follow you? Because nowadays it doesn't go into all tire records and get the single. It is a journey of
Absolutely.
self-promotion and everything. So can you give us details as to where people can find you and
Well,
also download the new single?
I can be found. I can be found on all platforms worldwide. All platforms: Spotify, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify again. I mean, I'm everywhere.
Mm.
You can go to my official uh, keithmitchell.com to my webpage and read. You can, go to Instagram. You can go to TikTok and you'll see uh, numerous posts, an advertisement. My album will be released July the 11th,
Mm.
Food for Your Life. And we're looking at a second single sometime 1st of August.
Mm.
So we're excited about He's Alive. We've
Mm.
made a lot of headway at internet radio. Now we're on some stations throughout the U.S. Where we're on adult contemporary stations as
Okay.
well as the gospel station. So I'm pretty much out there anywhere. You can check me out on my pages. Like I said, there's a lot to read and catch up on. And hopefully, in the very near future, we'll be coming to a city near you
Wow,
and
here
we
in the
can all
UK,
eat together
but around the country as well.
around the country, around the globe. Yes, sir. I've been to UK several times,
Mm.
uh, Japan, Brazil,
Wow.
you know, we've been around the block. Um, and so I'd love to get back over there to the UK
Yeah.
and share my music and some of the people who helped us in the business live in the UK. And
Yeah.
I certainly would have loved the opportunity to come back over there and share some of this good praise music with you all.
You mentioned that. So just everyone, official Keith Mitchell, and you know, look out for the single across all social media. I mean, ideally, most of us watch videos. Do you ever think you'd have a visuals for?
Well, right now there is a video for He's Alive. You can go to YouTube
Okay.
and just look at pull up YouTube and search Keith Mitchell. He's Alive, and
Okay.
it's a beautiful video. Very nicely done video. I'm really proud of it, and it'll give you a good look at the young chap.
Definitely. Um, I think the final question, because everyone would probably say, would be upset if I don't ask this. Do you ever feel that there's a road back into after 7? If not now, it, it could be years and months down the road, but do you think is that door permanently shut or just closed for now?
I don't think there's a pathway back to after 7. I think God has led me away from that scenario. And I think the level of damage that was done with me uh, has shown me that I wasn't respected, I wasn't loved, I wasn't needed, and we can do this without you. So, when you treat someone the way I got treated, um, there's no sense in revisiting that. The tenure of time, um, just a mirage of opportunities for us to grace audiences around the globe. I appreciate every moment that After Seven afforded me. But you know when your welcome has been worn thin, and
Mm,
certainly when someone decides that your worth in dollars and cents is not worth a pay raise, economic increase,
mm,
uh, a bonus. Uh, I'm not gonna give you a per diem when you travel. I'm not gonna pay you to rehearse. You know, I'm going to, matter of fact, out of that little bit of salary that I give you, you're going to have to
mm.
buy your own clothes to perform in. I'm just saying, when it gets to that, why would I come back? That means I got to pay to get up on stage and sing with After Seven? Yeah, it kind of leaves you speechless, don't it? When it's
Yeah.
put the way that it is. It leaves you speechless. So no, I won't be going back,
Okay.
and it is what it is. I'll retire in life, just praising and thanking God for giving me this breath of life and this privilege and this opportunity to praise Him and to glorify Him and magnify Him in everything that I do for Him. That's where I'm at.
That's well, Keith, it's been really fascinating speaking to you and being open and and at the same time not being bitter. But it's definitely been a blessing and an honor just to hear your honesty and your journey. And as I said, I'm sure if you put in a quick Google search, you'd be able to find him. But not only that, being able to download He's Alive so that it actually encourages him and other independent artists to be able to continue creating their own music, and so that we can celebrate as well
Yeah.
as consume.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna post the video, the music video, so people
Okay.
can see visually because I'm at the generation where I watch a YouTube video more so than I listen to Spotify and stuff. So I'll be looking for it.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Um,
up there. It's up there.
okay.
All right.
Yes. Well, definitely, Keith, it's been
And how do you
great.
how do you pronounce your name?
Oh, Namdi. Namdi.
Namdi. Okay.
Yes.
Namdi.
Yes,
Okay. Well, Namdi,
Namdi.
I like to especially thank you for allowing me to be presented on your format and your platform. I appreciate you. And if you want me to come back, reach out for my people, and we'll come back, and we can go through that album with you. So I can
Yes.
get your feedback
Yes.
on what this food for your life is about.
Actually, yes. What we can do is we can go live, but I'll put this out next week so that at least everyone can see
Okay.
that's ahead of it. But then when after the album's out, if we get to go through each of the songs and get the viewers to be able to respond, then we can do that.
Okay. Look forward
Yes.
to it.
Okay. Thanks a
All
lot,
right.
Keith.
Thank you. Have a good night. All
You
right. You're
too.
welcome. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.
All right.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that kind of.
And somewhere in between
us or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
she's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for me, but just for me,
No. Okay, you okay?
They don't understand what Jonas Boys and men all spirit.
lay it.
These guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.